Time for the only radio show of its kind. Auctioneers of antiques, collectors of cool, veterans of vintage. It's the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer. For the next hour, enjoy great information about buying and selling antiques and collectibles, and some interesting stories. Now, the Donley Auctions Hour.
Welcome to the Donley Auctions Hour. Thank you for joining us. We are here every Saturday at 1 o'clock. And unlike our favorite TV show, Seinfeld, which is a show about nothing, our show, Randy Donley, is a show about something and some very interesting stories. Hi, everyone.
Oh, that it is.
I'm Susan. I'm here with Randy Donley. We are the owners of Donley Auctions in Union, Illinois, just 60 miles west of Chicago. We're here today to talk about the auction that we just held, some upcoming auctions, because we want to let everybody know how prices are going right now and how things sold last weekend.
Yeah, we do. But, of course, I have to always start out with different comments. Susan, sorry. You have no visual right now,
There's no point
folks.
of having an agenda. Is that what you're saying?
But we were treated to hot chocolate and donuts in the studio this morning.
And I said no. Say no to the donut.
So thank you, Dunkin' Donuts, because they're wonderful today. So a little advertisement for them.
But I wanted to remind everybody, you and I went to a Seinfeld trivia contest last week, and we did not win. And we know that show inside and out. We've been watching it for years, and we still didn't
But
win
you know
the
what?
contest.
We
It
didn't
was
do
tough.
all that bad, though. We
didn't, no.
did beat the people sitting next to us. That was our agenda.
My comment is I need more teammates on my team.
Okay.
The double dip chip dippers. Okay, let's get back to business here. We just held a fabulous auction last Saturday, January 20th. That was our antique cars, coin op, and high-end antiques. Mm-hmm. Oh, my gosh, Randy, let's talk about that. But got to tell everybody how well it went.
You know, it really did. Things did very well. And, of course, going into it, you never know when you're hearing, you know, negative comments about the economy and how things are going. And, we shouldn't be selling right now because it's, an election year and yada, yada. All this, negative energy people throw at you. And it's just nice when none of that actually comes to fruition. Instead, it was a good auction.
Yeah.
Prices are strong. I would not hesitate. I would never steer people the wrong way, but I would not hesitate to be selling right now.
Now's the time to sell. That's right.
The prices are still holding. They are.
Well, again, we're going to keep pushing that on our phone number because if you do have items to sell, call us at 815-923-7000 or email us at consign@donleyauctions.com. Randy, what was the highlight of the auction?
Well, you know, it depends. I have to say what you're into.
There's some surprises for sure.
Yeah, good stuff sold. I mean, a slot machine, ladies and gentlemen, a single, one-item slot machine sold for $40,000. So
that's a good hit.
Yeah, slots and jukeboxes, I thought, did very well because the jukeboxes that we had in this particular auction were unrestored, as found, and they're still, bringing in the low thousands. I mean, yeah. I don't know that there was a jukebox under $1,000.
Yeah, I don't know. There wasn't. Even one that I think most of them worked too, and I think there was one that did not, and that sold very well as well. So jukeboxes.
Yeah,
who's got one?
You're right. Let's push right now.
Big heavy stuff
anything
auctions.
in jukeboxes and slot machines, we need more because we run these auctions, ladies and gentlemen, constantly. Every month we're running a different auction. We try to do them themed, of course. So the next auction that you would want to get into for slot machines, jukeboxes, coin op of any kind, coin-operated items, that is. And
advertising, cars, boats, motorcycles.
Yep. That'll all be coming up in April.
So now's the time. Again, 815-923-7000. My favorite, I've been talking about that pickup truck for weeks. The pickup truck sold is a 54 custom Chevy 3100 pickup truck.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a beauty. That one sold.
Yep. It sold pretty well. What,
38 plus BP. So that was a good hit on that one too. But again, one of my favorite items, that wasn't a vehicle was the Edison stock ticker.
Oh, yeah.
We love stock tickers. Gosh, if anybody has those really have been holding their prices for years.
Well, they have. And here's the whole beauty of stock tickers. Most of you who would have a stock ticker probably got it for nothing. Stock tickers were given away at the end of their life in, say, the 1960s and 70s when everything was turning computer. They were still using stock tickers in sports books and so on and so forth. So a lot of stock tickers are out there. They weren't items that were scrapped. They were just neat looking, and they were kind of, almost an iconic look. Mm-hmm. So they weren't thrown away. They weren't scrapped away. Instead, on the trading floor, most of them were fixed up a little bit, put a plaque on them, and they were given away to traders and people that worked at the stock exchange as a gift. As a parting gift, here's a stock ticker. So when you have one laying around the house, it's probably because you had a relative that got one, again, as a gift. You have no money into it. And what did it sell for?
That one sold for $12,000.
$12,000.
Wow.
And again, I hear this all the time. People, they make remarks to me like, oh, yeah, I used to have a stock ticker, and somebody was running an ad in the paper. And so we called them and we sold it. Oh, what'd you get for it? Oh, we got $1,500. We got this. We got, now, sadly, you're playing the best guessing game if you do not put items in auction. Yeah.
Because we have thousands of eyes on it every single time. So that's way more than a newspaper, that's for sure, and word of mouth. So, But my highlight of the auction, we were surprised for hours during the auction, were all of the beer signs. We had, 150 to 200 beer signs in our Breweriana category of the auction. They sold so well. This woman with this collection is going to be so excited. So I did a little research on, what is the deal with these beer signs? And there's a lot of very interesting history behind Hams and Schlitz and Pabst. Oh, my gosh, folks, if you have beer signs, they are extremely collectible right now. What do you got to say about that, Randy?
Now, what I've got to say about that is
Quit eating your donut. Oh, my gosh.
You intentionally asked me a question with a donut in my mouth. Very funny. Well, here's what I'll say about beer signs is they've always been collectible. Any Breweriana has been collectible. We have been selling bars and back bars for the last 40 years of my life, bars, back bars. And so we've always had signs and everything available. This happened to be a nice collection of signs. And it's nice to see that beer signs are still holding their value. I mean, we sold, a single Hams beer advertising clock for $900. It was not unusual for signs to be selling $800, $600, $500,
Yeah, they did very well, I thought. But here's what I want to tell our listeners out there is that what you're looking for in your beer sign category is whether or not they're porcelain, what they're made out of, right? So porcelain signs, you mainly want to look at, here are the key factors: the brand name, the scarcity value of it, of course, the condition. Those are the main things. But bigger's not always better here, too. They say the larger the sign does not necessarily mean the higher the price. Again, we're looking at condition. Condition is keying, especially on porcelain signs. And age is not always a strong factor either. It just, it depends on the buyer.
That's it. The signs that most people, I think Susan would have, would be probably 50s and 60s. And a lot of times people are thinking, well, that's not going to have a lot of value. And that's just not true. That's when the iconic Hams bear was around.
Those Hams commercials. Do you remember the theme song? From the land of sky blue waters.
Oh, you could have sang it better than that.
I don't know how it goes. I can't sing. Don't make me sing. But yeah, Hams, 1865 that came out. And then they started to compete with all of the other beer companies. And that's when Pabst got involved and Schlitz. And then it was just a big competition. Yeah. But the bear, do you know the name of the bear?
Well,
that's in the Hams commercials?
Well, yes and no. You say it, and then I'll probably debate it.
Okay. I've read different things, that the name is Sasha, named after the wife of Theodore Ham. Is that correct?
Sasha, I think, was the 1973 bear.
It was later,
and
right?
I think it was named after the artist's wife. or what have you. But I could be wrong. But it's my understanding that the Hams bear really never had a name. Now, we're going to have to check this out for our next show. We should have known this. But what I have read is the gentleman, the artist that created the bear, said he never named the bear. Right. He just referred to it as the bear.
All right, little trivia there for you folks.
But Sasha was definitely the bear in 1973, which was one of the latest renditions.
Well, moral of the story is beer signs are highly collectible. They sold really well at auctions. Do you have a collection out there? Give us a call at 815-923-7000. Better yet, send us an email at consign, CONSIGN, at Donley, DONLEY, auctions.com. We'd love to see some photos. Heck, we'll come out there and take a peek for you. You're listening to the Donley Auctions Hour right here on AM 560, The Answer. Don't go anywhere, folks.
They've been called auctioneers of antiques, collectors of cool, even veterans of vintage. And they can introduce themselves. Thanks for listening. This is the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back to the Donley Auctions Hour. I'm Susan, co-owner of Donley Auctions in Union, Illinois. We're just 60 miles west of Chicago. And we are talking about an auction we just held that held its prices pretty steadily. Yep. And we're trying to encourage people to give us a call because now is the time to sell, folks. 2024, downsizing, minimizing, putting it up for sale.
That's right. We're using 2024, this early part of the year, to say, hey, make your resolutions, get it done. If you're in a pack rat situation, sometimes you are. Don't be embarrassed because we get into these homes every week.
Right.
And we're used to seeing what we see. Don't hesitate to call us.
That's right. And before we get started, I thought it would be kind of fun to do a little brain teaser because I want you guys to stay with me till the end of the show. So I'm going to ask a question, think about it, and I'll give you the answer in a few minutes, okay? Here's the question. A sundial has the fewest moving parts of any device used to track time.
Oh, a clock, I see.
Which device has the most moving parts? Which device has the most moving parts? Answer at the end of the show. Okay, so we're going to keep talking about our upcoming auction. Speaking of downsizing, right?
Yes.
February, firearms, ammunition, sportsman gear, and military.
Those are all the upcoming
now's
auctions.
The time.
That's the next
We're still taking more items for that. So, it's a month away. Yeah. We're still taking consignments. You got to give us a call, 815-923-7000. We'll put you in touch with Neil, our firearm expert.
Well, actually, we've got Neil here
and
today.
Neil's on the phone with us. Hi, Neil. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Hi. I see stuff coming in the door every day. You pushing that cart of guns through. Tell us what to expect in our February 17th gun auction.
Of course, I've got all the great hunting rifles and shotguns. Got another huge load of military guns, vintage military guns. I've got some nice Garands from Springfield and H&R. Probably one of the coolest things I got was a little Smith & Wesson hand ejector.
Is that the one you showed me the other day? Susan. He's like a kid in a candy store. Susan, show me what you... Let me show you what I have. So say it again. It's a Smith & Wesson.
It's a Smith & Wesson hand ejector. Second model, fifth change, 32 Smith & Wesson long. And this probably 95%. It's a little small revolver. It's 100 years old, and it looks like it's been sitting in somebody's sock drawer for years.
Wow. It was beautiful.
Well, it probably is, or was, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What I've been seeing is such a nice, again, wide range, a wide variety of guns coming in for the February auction.
You know what else is coming in? I think it's coming in early this week is a huge taxidermy collection.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I can't wait to see that. We'll keep you posted on that as well. So not only guns and ammo and reloading gear and cleaning kits, cases, etc., we'll also have some sportsman gear with taxidermy and who knows.
But
There's
Neil, getting back to guns, are we top-loaded in any one direction for this auction? I mean, sometimes we have more Western guns than military or more military than hunting. I mean, what all we have for this auction?
Well, it's kind of funny that you say that. I took in the collection on Friday. the guy absolutely loved Ruger revolvers. He collected Ruger revolvers, and they're all just fantastic condition, 95% and above.
Wow.
A lot of very unusual ones, like the 30 carbine one, caliber revolver, 32 H&Rs. A lot of the convertibles where they can convert from 357 Magnum to a 9mm just by changing the cylinder. Yeah,
wow.
Absolutely.
So the barrel's actually the same. It's only the cylinder that you need to change?
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
I wasn't aware of that.
Neat. And so you get two guns into one.
Huh.
You have also like the 45 long Colts converting to a 45 ACP, which is normally a semi-auto round, but it's in a revolver.
Okay, now
it gives you a lot of leeway.
Let's not get technical here. Let's kind of change it and say if somebody who doesn't collect guns, who has just inherited a collection of guns, what do we need to do to help them? I mean, first and foremost, I always tell everybody out there, we will come and first, if you like, do a free assessment. We'll come out there and look everything over, give you our opinions of value and how it's going to sell and what's going to sell. It costs you absolutely nothing to have Neil and or myself come out there and look the collection over. I mean, we're going out, at least once a week for this, wouldn't you say?
Oh, easily. And I go a pretty long ways. Last week I was down in Dyer, Indiana.
Yeah.
So,
got a nice collection there. But I also want to make a note, too. We do carry our own FFL, Federal Firearms License. So we can legally transport, buy, sell, all that good stuff. We complete all the paperwork with us as well.
And that's one of the very important things that we're trying to stress out there, ladies and gentlemen, is that there's always many options to sell. We just want to make sure that you do it in a safe, legal manner, because, I mean, there are laws for selling firearms, and this is not a scare tactic. This is just to remind everybody that you want to do it the right way, because there's state and federal laws, and the minute you're dealing with somebody who has an FFL, we will, in fact, be taking care of all of the regulations, the state and federal laws for you. Everything will be put into our book and for the lack of better words, legalized. Right. And Neil, add to that. What's your thoughts there?
Well, I think what a lot of people don't understand, here in Illinois, you have to do paperwork. Every time you sell a gun to someone, you have to do the paperwork. You have to do a background check on them through the state police, and you have to keep documentation of all this. I do that all here. You don't have to do it. I do everything just like a gun shop does, doing the 4473, doing the background check, keeping all the information that you need to keep if ATF comes looking. So that takes all that weight off your back.
That's right. That's good.
So basically, we're just a absolute one stop for people when they have firearms. They can turn them over to us. We give them a receipt for what they have. We sell them. We do all the shipping, everything. Again, all this is done 100% by the code of the law. And inside 30 days, they receive a check for their amount.
That's right. And just a reminder, all you have to do is one thing. Call us, 815-923-7000. Call us and say, hey, I heard about Neil on the phone talking about firearms. I have a collection for you. Otherwise, you can also email us at consign@donleyauctions.com, and I forward those emails directly to Neil, and he'll give you a call back. Easy.
And, of course, coming up this, what's the date on the auction, Susan?
February 17th. It's a Saturday. Auction starts at 10 a.m.
But it's a 2-day auction, ladies and gentlemen. Day 1, 17th, is guns. Day 2, the 18th, is military.
Relics. It's a full weekend of fun.
So if you have other items besides firearms, and let's back up and say, along with firearms, we will sell all of your ammo for you, any reloading equipment. You know, Susan even mentioned that we're going and going to pick up a large collection of taxidermy. I mean, we can sell the taxidermy mounts for you. We're here to help. get all of these items sold for
We've
you.
also sold fishing lures. We had a great fishing lure collection that one year. So even think out of the box, things like that. Fishing, hunting, all the outdoor sports types things will be perfect for this auction. You got to call us, though, at 815-923-7000.
So, Neil, any other crazy good items? I saw some Thompson machine guns coming in. Now, these are not full auto, though, correct?
No, they're civilian. They're semi-auto, of course.
Good.
We've been getting a bunch of them this auction. It's kind of funny. I've got 4 or 5 of them over there. Mm-hmm. I got in a beautiful Colt 1911 Army that was made in 1912. Wow. So it's World War I and II, and it's in fantastic condition, complete with a holster. So
nice. And folks, we are always looking for items with provenance. If you know that your family had these pieces and can tell us, when they were acquired, any photos of them using them, be it guns or military relics or anything, the provenance really helps with prices. It keeps prices stronger.
That's right. We're going to let you go, Neil, because I know you got a lot of firearms to get in our books there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Neil.
Thanks, Neil. And we hope to see everybody at our February 17th auction. You just come on in. It's the doors open at 8 a.m. The auction starts at 10 a.m. Again, that's firearms and ammo on Saturday, February 17th. Military relics on Sunday, February 18th. Mark your calendars, folks. Again, not too late to consign. Give us a call. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Donley Auctions Hour right here on AM 560, The Answer.
You're listening to the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back to the Donley Auctions Hour. I'm Susan, and here with Randy Donley. We're the owners of Donley Auctions in Union, Illinois. And did you remember my brain teaser question?
Well, yeah. Are you going to give us the answer? Yeah.
I'm not giving you the answer.
Come on, I want to know.
Not until the end of the show. Folks, you have to stay tuned. The question is, a sundial has the fewest moving parts of any device used to track time. Which device has the most moving parts? And you cannot Google it. All right, I'll give you the answer at the end. But anyway, on this segment here, we're going to be talking about the military portion of our auction coming up February 18th, Sunday, February 18th.
Yep. We are so well known for military. People call us from all over the country, but we know it
is one of your specialties for sure.
Well,
since you were 11 years old.
11 years old, yeah.
You've been collecting.
So, my goodness. That's
I think Randy knows a thing or two about military.
Yeah, well over 50 years I've been wheeling and dealing in military relics. But
one thing I learned about you real quick, we talked about it last week, was the woman in war. You said you had a huge display at the museum and everything. I never knew that.
I did. I had my Women at War collection on display for years and years. But, when I was collecting, all these World War II vets were still alive. And so I was meeting, vets all over Berwyn and Cicero, which was kind of my stomping ground where I grew up. And it was just so interesting that I would get into the house and I'd be talking to
you actually get to have a conversation with them.
Oh, yeah.
About their items.
I'd be talking to these guys about their military and everything. And then all of a sudden, the wife would mention, well, would you be interested in my military items also? And it was so interesting how many women I met that were in the military during World War II. You just don't think about that. I hadn't at that point, but loads and loads of interesting.
I love that. I would hope anybody out there who has any uniforms, women in the war, uniforms, hats, purses, you said even shoes, all of that is highly desirable and collectible right now. Perfect for our February auction.
It certainly is. And I have to say, women's uniforms are in many, many cases more desirable because they're harder to find.
They're rare, yeah. For sure. What else is coming up in that auction? February 18th.
The February 18th auction has an outstanding collection of World War II Japanese memorabilia that GIs would have brought home. And this is one thing that I like to point out from time to time is that when American veterans brought souvenirs home, they were actually encouraged to do that by the United States government. The government during the war passed what they referred to as the War Booty Act. and they encouraged GIs to send home military relics to their relatives and everything because it kept everybody here on the home front all excited. Uncle Joe just sent me a dagger. My dad sent me a sword, a Japanese sword. So our government encouraged us because we didn't have a great propaganda ministry built up, whereas warring countries already, like Germany and everything, had a big propaganda ministry and all that. So we didn't have that department built up. So the War Booty Act was passed specifically to encourage GIs to send home items of a military nature that they picked up during a combat situation, and they could legally send this stuff home. So it wasn't like they were robbing stuff or taking people. They weren't going into homes and pillaging and everything. They were sending home combat-related items. If they were in battle and they captured somebody, they might take the guy's medals off of him or send home his hat or his armband or dagger. So,
well, I'm going to ask you this question. I know it's going to be hard to answer, but what was your favorite item that you got from a veteran when you were younger, 11, 12 years old, when you actually sat in the kitchen talking to them? Do you remember any good stories or items you got?
I remember a gentleman, he had a really hard time handing me, he wanted me to take his, it was a Sykes Fairbairn boot knife. And he had a picture of himself in his combat uniform with his boot knife actually strapped, to his leg. And he held it and looked at me and almost crying, talking about, it's time to pass this on. Mm. And, some of the combat that he was talking about and everything, it was just scary to think that, at that period of time, people were fighting hand-to-hand combat.
Right. As an 11-year-old, though, did you understand what he was talking about?
Well, I certainly did, and it was scary then to hear the stories and everything else, but very important to understand what our veterans did to keep this country safe and
still do.
To allow it. Our veterans are just so underappreciated what they go through. Have gone through and continue to go through on a regular basis. And that's why military collecting is so popular, because people really want to honor the veterans, to not just to dispose of this that it took,
That's right. And that's what I love about our job, all this history that comes through our hands. And, we treat these items as if they were our own. We understand it. We get it. The respect behind every single item. It's amazing. So definitely mark your calendars for Sunday, February 18th is our military relics auction. If you want to check out the calendar, go to DonleyAuctions.com. We've got a whole list of things coming up. But don't go anywhere, folks. Join us after the break. You're listening to the Donley Auctions Hour here every Saturday on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, more of the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer.
We're back with the Donley Auctions Hour. Thanks for sticking with us during that break. I'm Susan, co-owner of Donley Auctions, here with my wonderful partner, Randy Donley. Donley Auctions in Union, Illinois, folks. You got to come out. You got to see what we do out there, because people come out and say, can we take a peek in the hall? And they're just amazed by the types of items that we have and that sort of thing. So definitely come on out to our preview, which is going to be Friday the 16th for the gun and military auction. So you can come out between noon and 7 p.m. to check out all of the items we have coming up.
And, Susan, I wanted to point out that if you're an estate executor or that, please call us also. We can help selling off, estate items. And lawyers out there, don't hesitate to call us.
And municipalities and, everybody's got something out there, because everybody was either in the war at some point or had toys. And we'll talk about toys in a few minutes here.
And municipalities, we're always looking for cannons and statues. We're looking for antique architecture. The other day I saw a whole load of a fence being taken down from a cemetery, all that big old cast iron fence, and that goes for huge money.
Oh, wow.
I hope to goodness, I didn't have time to stop, but I hope they weren't scrapping it for the metal.
I'm surprised you didn't Just pull over on the side of the road, turn around, dash in there like you always make me do.
I was on my way.
Pull over. Did you see what's in that guy's garage?
Oh, how many times have we knocked on houses when we see great leaded windows still in the house?
Traveling with Randy takes twice as long most of the time.
That it does.
But anyway, we want to kind of push on the items we're looking for upcoming auctions.
Yep. Cannons, big heavy stuff. Who's got a tank? Cannons and big ordnance. Yeah.
Who's got a tank? So speaking of ordnance.
Okay. Yeah, we do have a
I'm
whole
looking forward to this
collection.
auction.
This is so interesting. This is coming up in March. It's military ordnance, and I mean that refers to as hand grenades, brass shells, bullets, all different gadgetry and everything. But
the beauty of this collection, Randy, it's one man's collection.
Yeah, over 900 items.
900 items. It's going to be a long day. It's Saturday, March 16th. And as David always says, it's anything that goes boom.
Yeah, that it does. But we can sell all this, legally because it is all inert. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's nothing here.
Of course.
But I'll tell you, if you do have items, some of these big old shells and stuff and bullets and bomb-looking items that were brought home during the war and everything, and you have any questions, let us know. We will let you know. Immediately. I mean, one woman called me and was so concerned. Oh, I've got a bomb in my garage. Well, first it was painted blue. Okay. That was her first, could have been her first tip off and everything. That it was just a display item bought at a surplus store years ago. 90% of what you have at home is going to be purchased from surpluses. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's surplus stores sold this stuff, by the millions of items after the war. And it's all interesting. It doesn't matter how it was acquired, but it's all valuable today. And what's our tagline, Susan?
We're going to make it fit in
your wallet. Yep.
That's right. I love that. It's so true because people bring us truckloads and buckets full and tubs full of things, and we just send them back a little check in an envelope. I think that's the way it needs to be done. So, again, this year, folks, 2024, call Donley Auctions. Let us help you get rid of your stuff and make you some money.
I'm just looking at a flyer for our big April Classic.
It's right around the corner. I mean, it's the April 19th through the 21st. That's, that means spring's almost here.
We are looking for more cars. And just the other day, a woman called us with a really a nice all original. It's not restored or anything, but it's a nice 1968 Firebird convertible.
Oh, I love it, too. It's orange, but there's a name for that color, and I can't remember what it is.
Well, but
I'll have it next time.
We just acquired a big 1921 Cadillac sedan, all restored, 100% restored inside and out. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous vehicle. That's coming up in April. We've got slot machines already here. We need more. Leaded windows. We need more. Gas pumps. We need more. Arcade equipment. I mean, all this is coming up in April.
Yeah, I just saw 2 pinball machines come in the other day. So sure. Pinball machines, we went and picked them up, actually. So you got to call us, and we'll arrange a pickup or a drop-off with you. Absolutely.
That's one of the things people are nervous because they're saying, well, how would I ever get it out of the house? It's down in the basement and everything.
We're kind of pros at that by now.
And yeah, we're not looking forward to pulling these things out of a basement any more than you are, but
we can do it.
We have the manpower and we have the wherewithal, the knowledge, the tools, so we can again make it happen. So don't worry about location. We can get it out.
That's right. And I always like to give people deadlines too. I think if you understand the urgency of a deadline, you might start thinking about this a little sooner. So for our annual April Spring Classic Auction, if you have items to consign, we'd like to talk to you by March 1st. March? That's March, all of March and April, yep. So we got plenty of time to get it promoted for you.
But even before that, we've got a big March toy auction,
Susan.
Yes. If you have
toys and trains.
Oh, my goodness. If you've got anything in a toy collection, toys or trains, as Susan said, be it tin, cast iron, or even modern. Of course, the best stuff is, mint in box or new in box. And we get a lot of that.
That's right. And I know we're giving you guys a lot of dates here. So go to our website at Donley, Donley, auctions.com. Our calendar is there, so you can mark your calendar and come on out to Union. And don't leave yet.
Because we're going to give you the answer.
Oh, you want the answer to the brain? I don't know. We'll
on
see.
The next segment.
I'll give you an answer on the next segment. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Donley Auctions Hour right here on AM 560, The Answer. And don't forget to go to our website for the upcoming calendar, DonleyAuctions.com.
The Donley Auctions Hour continues now on AM 560, The Answer.
We are back with the Donley Auctions Hour talking about upcoming auctions, things you might have at home that you'd like to put up for auction. You got to give us a call, folks, at 815-923-7000. Now's the time to sell. Also, you wanted to mention...
Well, here, I just want to go over our calendar real quick,
okay.
Susan.
Go ahead.
Guns and military in February, folks. So I'm going to mention these dates so that you know.
They're all on our website, though.
Yeah, right. But I'm going to mention them just to get you thinking, hey, I've got some of those. I'm going to call them. You need to call us because that's the only way we're going to get this stuff sold for you. Okay, guns and military in February. We've got the Jim Geibel Ordnance Collection in March, Antique Toys in March, our Spring Classic, the biggie, one of our biggest auctions.
3 or 4 days. Yeah, that's a big one.
Coming up in April. We've got more cars and memorabilia. We've got another great auction, a surprise, I'll tell you in another week or so.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one. I can't wait.
A real biggie.
I know what it is.
In June. June, we've got this big surprise.
Also, I want to mention, too, if anybody knows anything about the Show of Shows, it is the Super Bowl of military shows. It's happening in Louisville, Kentucky, February 21st through the 24th. So if you want to meet Randy and the crew, we'll have a booth set up there. If you want to talk to him about any military relics or anything at all, definitely stop by and say hi to Randy Donley at the Show of Shows in February.
And we're at almost every gun show, too.
Pretty much. There's a King County one coming up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So always look for Randy, definitely. All right. So we always talk about how to sell. Now we're going to talk quickly about how you can buy items because we know there's a lot of collectors out there. I'll go through this really quick. There's several ways you can purchase our items at auction. One, and the way I always recommend it is just to be there live. No issues. It's actually less expensive to bid live with us in person in Union. And you can touch and feel and, preview everything before you buy it. If you cannot be there, because I know we have listeners from other states and pretty far away in Illinois, you can call us to submit phone or absentee bids. Or we'll take your bids. I have no problem with that. But we're also on 4 bidding platforms where you can bid online in the convenience of your own home on 4 different platforms with thousands of bidders online. So if you ever have any questions about how to register or you're frustrated, you're not really technical savvy, give us a call at 815-923-7000. You want to add anything about the Wild West Town real quick?
Yeah, sure. I'll mention that the Wild West Town property is for sale. Go to the Donley Group on our website. That's right. And you'll learn more about it. We're selling this as a event center. We'll be moving the location of Donley Auctions. We are not by any means closing Donley Auctions. We just need a bigger space for us.
Yeah, we're out of room.
We are out of room and we need a bigger location.
That's right. So who wants the answer to my trivia question? Kind of a brain teaser.
I do for one. I don't know the answer.
All right. The question is, a sundial has the fewest moving parts of any device used to track time. Which device has the most moving parts? The answer is...
some type of watch.
An hourglass. Millions and millions of grains of sand pass through an hourglass.
Oh, my goodness.
And the timepiece, of course, with the fewest parts is the sundial. There you go, folks. I'm glad you stayed and listened to our show so you can hear that.
I thought you were going to be talking about a Rolex or something.
No. It's just a little brain teaser, but we'll see what happens next week. I might have something even harder. But anyway, real quick. 815-923-7000 is our phone number. All you have to do is call us. We're on we answer the phones all day long. If you'd rather send us an email, it's to consign, CONSIGN, at DonleyAuctions.com. For now, I'm Susan.
And I'm Randy Donley. And we'll see you at the auction.
Thank you for listening to the Donley Auctions Hour.
Thanks for listening to the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer. Check out all the latest information on upcoming auctions and collectibles at DonleyAuctions.com. And while you're there, you can contact someone about buying or selling your collectibles or estates. That's DonleyAuctions.com.